to do some commentary about Thich Nhat Hanh, talking about that sitting is pleasurable and joyful and life affirming, because I don't think anybody ever told me that. I mean, in the beginning, and still, excuse me, you go to Zen Center and people look really serious. And as Suzuki Roshi said, what we're doing is way too serious to take ourselves too seriously. So don't skip that it's serious. This is life and death and birth, and it's like, oh yeah, and we're gonna anyway. We'll talk more about that today. But and then I just was remembering when I started sitting, which wasn't that long ago, there were not so many Buddhist groups and not so many books. What's happened in our lifetime? We're still babies, but back then it was Zen Center. I mean, I came from Ohio. I came to Zen Center in San Francisco. There was Trungpa. Lots of people were leaving and going to Trungpa because Trungpa looked a lot more fun, but Trungpa was, you had to be into serious debauchery and he was an amazing teacher. And I remember also seriously considering Sufi Sam, who was a Sufi who was having lots of fun dancing in circles and stuff. And I think I didn't do that because fundamentally I am a serious person and I know this is serious business, but it's such a surprise all these decades later to find out that it can actually be fun too. So I want to telling all of us that this is, don't miss that part. So we had a wonderful Buddha's birthday. There'll be a beautiful picture of the pagoda. It's really lovely in the newsletter. May 3rd, we're doing our first retreat at Pepperwood, which I can't remember who said this to me, but they knew people at Pepperwood Preserve and said, oh, we're going to go, maybe it was Kyle, said, oh, we're going to go up there and sit. And this was a docent, somebody who was kind of a regular, and they said, oh, nobody does that. No, that can't be what's happening. I mean, we're really being invited to do something that hasn't happened before. So, and to find out what that means and to find out what it means to sit on this land with deep intent and to listen deeply in this time and to feel the joy of the sun and the moon and the stars and the coyotes so I think this is pretty cool, actually. Thursday, Marianne is giving a talk on fear. Tuesday, Constance is giving a talk on anger. At least you start feeling too joyful. We're going to keep bringing you down. So, but we all got it, so we might as well talk about it. And then I'll give another little talk to finish it out. And then I have been thinking, what are we going to do for the next, because it's May, June, July, heading into the summer, and I'm thinking about that today. And I thought we were going to do the Lions Roar Queen Shrimala, which is really a cool sutra, and we will do that someday. But I don't know about you, but my brain just is having a hard time tracking in a serious way these days. The world is way too serious. So I thought, so we're going to do Taigen Dan Layton who is a friend and a Dharma brother, has a wonderful book on bodhisattvas. The archetype of the bodhisattva is called The Faces of Compassion. So we'll talk about Manjushri and Samantabhadra and Avalokiteshvara and what that is in all of us and how we can enact that, which I think might be a little fun, a little serious and a little fun. So I thought I keep coming back to the final verse of Thich Nhat Hanh's 50 verses, Yogacara. Here we all are traveling in a boat of compassion on the ocean of delusion. Can you feel it? Our little boat. Smiling the smile of non-fear. This is the path of a bodhisattva. So we've been using pieces every step. Thich Nhat Hanh's book on fear and anger, which is what Marianne and Constance will be bringing forward. Oh my goodness. Mary Kunoff is having a mastectomy on this Friday. My goodness. Yeah, we'll absolutely chant and hold you close. And so I I want to this little be free where you are, Thich Nhat Hanh. Prisoners asked some great questions at the end, which I thought would be fun to bring forward. But I want to start with, in case we hadn't noticed, we seem to be at war again. So I thought I might share some of Thich Nhat Hanh's words about.
Did you want to do them before lecture?
Oh, did I?
I don't think we did.
We did do it? Oh, good.
Goodness.
Oh, good.
About
No.
names.
No. If it wasn't me, if it wasn't you, it would be me. So there you go. I'm so glad we did it. We can do it again.
Yeah, we did do it. This, are you going to do announcements?
Go ahead.
There's 2 spots left in the Pepperwood retreat.
Oh, wow.
All the rest of them are taken. So.
Thank you. Okay.
And.
Did you guys hear that?
No.
Yeah, 2 spots left in the Pepperwood retreat.
If you want to go. And just register. The other thing is that me and Debbie and Ellen are updating the contact list for the Sangha. And the last time that was done is October of 2024. So if you want to be on it, there's a sign up sheet that we'll just keep out. And if you want to be on it, then sign up. And people online can let you know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the remote people aren't on it because there was really no way for them to sign up. Yeah, so we're going to find a way for you to sign up. I don't know what it is, but we'll send me an email. Great. Okay. Pepperwood is also my hope is that Dharma Heart Zen, who we know and see in the room and on screen, but also I think there are practitioners out there who wouldn't necessarily show up here in the chapel, who might show up at Pepperwood Preserve because they like coyotes and, for whatever reason. So it's filling up, but we're going to do more. And please let people who are practitioners who are land-based know that we're going to continue to do this and build and create it together along with Ben and Pepperwood. Okay. So you want to hear some things that Thich Nhat Hanh, who lived through war, has to say to us in these times? Me too. Thanks. Thanks for listening. It says, listening deeply for peace. War is not a necessary condition of life. The root of war, as with all conflicts, is ignorance. Ignorance of the inherent goodness, the Buddha nature in every human being. The potential for ignorance lives in all of us. It gives rise to misunderstanding, which can lead to violent thoughts and behavior. And although ignorance and violence may not have manifested in your life, when conditions are sufficient, they can. I remember Richard Baker, my first teacher, saying, everybody's nice until they're backed into a corner. It always stayed with me. It's like, what? I'm fine. I'm nice. I'm smiling. But where's the place where something just happens? And maybe it's a split second and maybe you don't act it out as violence, but also I don't know what would happen if somebody was going after my child. It's like, study this. Don't think we're above it. This is why we all have to be very careful not to water these seeds and not to allow them to develop roots and grow into arrows. Roots of war. When one country attacks another, it is out of great fear and a kind of collective ignorance. We know when we look deeply that happiness does not come from possessing something or someone or oil or whatever. It comes from kindness and compassion, from helping to ease suffering. As long as we allow hatred to grow in us, we continue to make ourselves and others suffer. As we look deeply at the wars in our recent history,
We have to transform our hatred and misunderstanding into compassion. That's our collective and individual job. We have to recognize that those who have made us suffer are also victims. How can we as individuals influence the collective consciousness of our nations and move in the direction of peace? We do this by uprooting the roots of violence and war within ourselves. Study it. This is not because there's something wrong with you. Just study. It's why we're going to study fear with Marianne and anger with Constance, and why we study what it is to be a human being. To prevent war, we cultivate nonviolence. We practice mindfulness in our daily life so that we can recognize and transform the poisons within us and our nation. The first and second noble truths of Buddha, the awareness of suffering and the awareness of the cause of suffering, could be practiced together by billions of people. And in fact, when you practice it, you are practicing it with billions of people. Every awareness ripples across the web of everything. There is suffering. There is a cause of suffering. The first and second noble truths will lead us to the third and fourth noble truths, namely, the awareness that there is a path out of suffering. There is a path out of suffering. We don't have to keep doing these same old things. And that path consists of certain concrete steps. It's not just hoping for it. It's concrete. You actualize it. So with such things as right understanding and right thinking and right speech and right action, and we help each other. And the world will help us, because I was thinking today, I remember little ditties that people say. Norman Fisher, who said a lot of wise and wonderful and written lots of books, one of the main things that stays with me is study your lunacy and pray for help. It just seems to me like that just cuts right through. And the conscious breathing is a prayer for help. Coming back to your breath is an active prayer. And if words arise, that's good, but come back. Creating peace in the world. The antidote to violence and hatred, what do you think it is?
Compassion.
Compassion, love. There is no other medicine. Looking deeply, we find out that not only do we suffer, but also the other person suffers deeply. You could say they're suffering because they're stupid, or they would just understand what we understand, then it was like everybody would be okay. I mean, that's the first level, but keep looking, It's like everybody's suffering. Everybody's trying to get what they want and push away what they don't want, and confused about what's really going on here, and then acting it out in 100 million different ways. Not only our group suffers, but the other group also suffers. Once awareness is born, we know that punishment, violence, and war are not the answer. The Buddha said that responding to hatred with hatred can only increase hatred 1,000-fold. Only by responding to hatred with compassion can we disintegrate hatred. So start with compassion for yourself. And then keep extending it out. And if you get out there and you're extending compassion, and all of a sudden greed, hate, and delusion and anger and fear and everything come up, and you're just like, I don't want to do that, then don't. Come back. Just keep coming back, and then extend as you can. There's something that soft and joyful in caring. Just be free where you are. Just keep coming back. It's alive. Don't worry. Your intention. Keep watering your intention. By taking care of the present, we are doing everything we can to assure a good future. Is there anything else you can do? Live in the present moment in such a way that peace and joy may be possible here and now, that love and understanding may be possible. Dwelling happily and peacefully in the present moment is the best thing we can do to ensure peace and happiness in the future. Practicing peace is possible with every step and with every breath. It is possible for us to practice together and bring hope and compassion into our daily lives and into the lives of our family, our community, our nation, and the world. I'm really appreciating Thich Nhat Hanh. Takes all these big, he's clearly a scholar, clearly knows all these wonderful sutras and Dogen, and he just says, just be here. That's this is it. That's what it's all point. Just okay, but at least we have some, maybe we have some questions. The prisoners did too. So I thought the prisoners might be our questions, and maybe they would ask questions that we would be way too sophisticated and have it way too together to ask the same questions. So we'll just let them hang out there in the breeze and see if their questions and his responses to them might be helpful. Sound okay? Have you ever been mad? When was the last time you were mad? So when I read these, I think about people. This is the Maryland Correctional Institute, which I'm guessing is probably a pretty heavy lockdown. There's probably a lot of lifers in here. They're really asking how to survive. I mean, I used to go into San Quentin, and I think there's probably still a group going there. But it's like going into the people who show up, it's like a monastery. It's like this is serious business. They know it's a hell realm, and it's like how can I do this? Not to mention what they're living within themselves and what was done to them and they did to others. So the questions is really quite when you ask, have you ever been mad? That's a really serious question. As a human being, I have the seed of anger in me. But thanks to the practice, I am able to handle my anger. If anger manifests in me, I know how to take care of it. I am not a saint. Because I know the practice, I am no longer a victim of my anger. I am not a saint. You are not a saint. We just practice. We know what it feels like when it's arising. Take a breath and come back. Can you define mindfulness? How can we practice with so many distractions? In Vietnamese, mindfulness is Chan Minh, which means to be truly present in the moment. It's kind of nice. It's a nice definition. I mean, mindfulness just doesn't. I read today the verb presencing. That's nice. It's a verb, presencing. When you eat, you know you are eating. When you walk, you know that you are walking. The opposite of mindfulness is forgetfulness. You eat, but you don't know what you are eating because your mind is elsewhere. When you bring your mind back to what is happening in the here and now, that is mindfulness or presencing. And presencing can bring you a lot of life, pleasure, and joy. The simple act of eating an orange, for instance, can be 1,000 times more pleasant if you eat it mindfully than if you eat it while you are caught up in your worries, angers, or despair. So mindfulness is the energy that helps you be fully present with whatever is there. I think sometimes, my own little commentary, is we get scared by the beauty And I mean, I sometimes like get scared by a tomato. I mean, I mean, or a blueberry, or a bug, or it's like if I really let this in, it would change my whole life. And I mean, obviously did in that moment in some ways, but do you not have a sense of how much you kind of shut down your senses and awareness because you can take this much life, but this much life is kind a little threatening to the self and the ego. You might have to understand that you're intertwined with a tomato and think of all the wonderful and terrible things they do with tomatoes. It's just like spit it out. The next time you're distracted, come back and feel what it's like to really be there with something. So yeah. And it's pleasurable when you calm down in the center of it. It's my I'm trying to be helpful, but anyway. Could you speak a little bit about forgiveness? Forgiveness is the fruit of understanding. Sometimes, even when we want to forgive someone, we cannot. The goodwill to forgive may be there, but the bitterness and suffering are still there too. For me, forgiveness is the result of looking deeply and understanding. I like that and respect that he's not pushing anybody to like, you'd be a good person if you forgave. Just stay with it. Is there a kind of force that directs your experience? Is there a higher force that gives you direction? I have said that in every cell of your body, you can find both hell and heaven, the kingdom of God. In every cell in your body, you can find both hell and heaven, the kingdom of God. The higher or lower spiritual force is right there inside you. When you have compassion, you can touch compassion everywhere. When you have violence and hatred, you will connect with those energies around you. This is why it is very important to select the channel you want to be on.
Well,
What channel am I on today?
um,
If you decide to nourish yourself with positive energies only, then the energy of mindfulness will help you distinguish between energies that are appropriate for you and those that are not. People you should associate with, what kind of food you should eat, what kind of television programs you should watch, and so on. Mindfulness, presencing, is capable of telling you things you need and things that are harmful to you. What is the essence of Buddhism? Is it a religion? And was Buddha a god? The Buddha always reminds us that he was a human being and not a god. He was a teacher. He left behind many discourses that he gave to his disciples. They are called sutras. Buddhism originally was not a religion, it was a way of life. Let me say that one again. I'm a Buddhist. What are you? I'm not a Buddhist. I just come and sit. But anyway, it originally was not a religion, it was a way of life. This is a way of life. The sutras are the teaching of the Buddha on how to transform suffering and cultivate joy and compassion. As Buddhist monks, we learn many of these sutras and we learn to explain them to people in a way that they know exactly how to practice these teachings. In the Buddhist tradition, we honor the three jewels. The first jewel is the Buddha, the one who found a way of understanding, love, transformation, and healing. The second jewel is the Dharma, the path of transformation and healing, which was offered by the Buddha in the form of discourses, teachings, and practices. The third jewel is the community of practice, the Sangha, the people who have formed a community and taken up the path of meditation and mindfulness practice. Sangha means community. Everyone in the community practices presencing, mindful breathing, mindful walking, generating compassion and understanding. That's what you do when you're on the cushion. And I love it when somebody comes in and confesses that they're just, I mean, with some awareness, is you're just sitting there breathing and the person next to you is driving you crazy because they're moving too much or snorting, or of course they're feeling the same way about you. And most of the time everything's fine, but it's like no matter where you go, you're going to run into yourself and everything else. Our practice is to take refuge in the Sangha because a real Sangha is a community where true practice exists. True mindfulness, understanding, and compassion. A true Sangha carries within it the true Dharma and true Buddha. So when you get in touch with true Sangha, you also get in touch with Buddha and the Dharma. With a Sangha, you have a chance to succeed. Good work, folks. Because the Sangha is instrumental in protecting and supporting you in the practice. Without Sangha, you might abandon your practice after a few months. We have a saying that when a tiger leaves the mountain and goes to the lowland, it will be captured by humans and killed. A practitioner needs to stay with their Sangha or they may abandon the practice after a few months. The support and guidance of a Sangha are very important. Even here in prison, you can set up your own Sangha. Could be even just 4 or 5 people who do the practice daily. A Sangha can give the support that is needed. A Sangha can be made up of anybody, lay people, monastics, and wherever there are at least 4 people, I didn't know that. You practice mindfulness together. If you do that, there is a Sangha. Taking refuge in the Sangha is very important. If the Sangha really practices, it contains the Buddha and the Dharma. So he says, find somebody to practice with. You can't do this by yourself. Maybe we've all tried in one way or another. And then you end up here and you think, what am I doing here? And who are these people that I would normally never hang out with? And what are we doing anyway? And then you just keep coming back. Such a mystery. So we can talk together, and maybe I'll send you into small groups for a little while about any of this. You could talk about Sangha or whatever. The thing that kept coming up for me is forgiveness. What's that mean to you? How do you practice with forgiveness? Because forgiveness does seem to me to do with fear and anger, and boundaries and self-care and extending. And forgiveness has as a root word giving at the center of it, which the primary teaching I found someplace along the way is that the Buddha said, this is from Bhikkhu Bodhi, the Buddha said he didn't want to give anybody any formal Buddhist teachings unless they had some basic ground of generosity, which I think is really beautiful. It's like, don't put this stuff on top of something, just cultivate your own heart. And forgiveness for yourself and for others is certainly part of that. But you can talk about anything that arises in this. So why don't you find people you don't usually get to talk to? We got some people that we can weave in and each person gets about 3 minutes to just whatever comes up out of this. Don't censor it. Don't try to get it right. And then we just witness each other, and then we have a little time to talk together. You could also talk about peace and war. You can talk about whatever you want.